All right, I can't believe we're near the end of this one here. Uh, we only have two more shelves left. We're starting off this one with Resident Evil. I liked it. Granted, they're not like anywhere close to like the video games were at the time, but I still these are definitely guilty pleasures for sure. Uh, Resident Evil Apocalypse, I actually seen this one in theater. Thought it was cool. It was probably the closest to all the video games as far as like the setting and the characters and whatnot. Uh, I thought it was really cool to see Raccoon City and everything. Then we have Resident Evil Extinction, Afterlife, the fifth one, which is Retribution. The sixth one's coming out soon. I can't actually wait for that one. However, these are not loved by a lot of Resident Evil fans. However, these ones, the animated films, which are Degeneration and Damnation, are actually excellent Resident Evil animated films, done in the style of like a CG cartoon. Uh, all the characters look like their video game counterparts or whatnot. If you want like strict to the video game lore, that's the one you want. Uh, if you don't care about lore, then go with these ones. Some more zombie action. We have Return of the Living Dead. I know there's multiple sequels for this one. I would like to get the second one, but I don't think the second one's available on Blu-ray. Uh, but this one is definitely the classic. The original is pretty awesome. It's more of a comedy than like your Georgia Romero zombies and stuff like that, and it's really cool. It has a lot of like classic lines, including like the zombie saying brains, which is often what gets used for all things zombies. Uh, we have Ride Along with Ice Cube and Kevin Hart. It's the first movie I've seen with Kevin Hart in it, and I'm not annoyed with him yet, so I'm really looking forward to the second one. We have Rise of the Planet of the Apes with slipcover. I don't think had the slipcover last time we did an overview. I'm not too sure though. And then I have the sequel, which I have yet to open. I have yet to watch. Dawn of the Planet of the Apes. I will be watching that soon, hopefully in the new year. We have Tom Cruise here in Risky Business. Great film. One of Tom Cruise's earliest films. We have the original Robocop trilogy. This also, originally, this was including the unremastered edition of the first film, the botched first edition. However, I bought the remastered edition and simply popped the disc inside that one. So I have like the closest to an ultimate trilogy as you can get. Another remake I actually didn't mind, which is the RoboCop remake. I know a lot of people didn't like it. It was rated PG-13 and not rated R, but overlooking that, it was still a great action film. I really enjoyed it, and I liked how they kind of give RoboCop a more of like a human uh, personality, I guess you could say. And I personally enjoyed it. I don't see what the big deal is with that one. We have Rock and Rolla, really entertaining film. Another one I want to watch. I actually picked this up recently. I want to watch these. I heard they're really funny. They're basically an Indiana Jones knockoff. We have Romancing the Stone and then the Jewel of the Nile. I just kind of I got it fairly cheap, and this actually wasn't the price I paid for it. I actually got it for about $3, and I really want to see that. Another one I really wanted to see, and I bought it on Boxing Day, is Run All Night. This is more back to the kick-ass Liam Neeson, uh, and look like an entertaining film. Hopefully, it is. Another decent film is The Rundown with The Rock. It's the first movie I believe he made, and it was the first one I uh, realized that The Rock is actually pretty cool, and made me want to see other movies with him in it. The Running Man, Arnold Schwarzenegger, really super cheese fest. Still really awesome Arnie film. Another Arnie film is Sabotage. I like this one. Some people didn't like this one. It's a decent, not a ton of action in it. It's more like a mystery kind of whodunit kind of thing. And then finally, we have Saving Mr. Banks, the kind of Walt Disney trying to swoon or whatever the creator of Mary Poppins in order to make the film, and it's a decent little film. A lot of these films, Save Mr. Banks, I like the time period, and it's because it's why I like those films a lot. Next up, we have Scarface. Really wish I would have got the Steelbook edition because it actually comes with the original 30s Scarface film. But great film, nevertheless. We have Scott Pilgrim versus the World. Really cool if you're into video games. Probably one of the best, if not the best, video game movies. Then we have Scream, Scream 2, Scream 3, and then, of course, we have Scream 4. So we have all 4 films. I really enjoy these. And it's unfortunate that we'll never see a Scream 5 directed by Wes Craven as he sadly passed away. Next up, we have another Christmas classic for me, Scrooge with Bill Murray. It's basically a knock on the Christmas Carol type of thing. Really, really funny, though. It's definitely Bill Murray at his best. We have set up a not really great action film. Sex Tape, really, really funny. I really like Cameron Diaz. I think she's pretty funny. Sharknado, so bad it's awesome. I want to get the. I think they have 3 now, if I'm not mistaken. I'd like to get the other 2. And then we have Shaun of the Dead Steelbook Edition, one of, if not my favorite, zombie films. It's really tough between this one and Dawn of the Dead, the original, as what are my favorite zombie films. I kind of go back and forth between what mood I am, I guess, what mood I'm in. But great, great film. And if you're a fan of zombies, you have to see Shaun of the Dead. Another Steelbook here, we have Sin City. Now we have the sequel, unfortunately not a Steelbook. I just couldn't really be bothered. Sin City, A Damned to Kill For. I haven't actually watched that one yet. By the way, I pretty much got the Sin City Steelbook for the extras features that were, at least in Canada, exclusive to that Steelbook, which sucked, but it is what it is. I only paid $20 for it, so it wasn't too bad. We have Sinister. I want to get Sinister 2 when it comes out. We have Sleeping Beauty. Funny story with this one, I actually bought this purely as a gag. Tyson, because he's been collecting all the, aka Blue Yak 85. He basically has been collecting all these Disney movies, or trying to, and this one was one of the ones he was missing, one of the few that he was missing, and he ended up paying like $50 or $60 for it, and they ended up re-releasing it probably about like 3 months later as this Diamond Edition, and I think I ended up getting it for like $15, $18. So that's kind of, I bought it more as a gag thing. This one here, I actually bought it because it was super cheap. It's the Steelbook edition of the first Smurfs movie. And of course, as I'm someone who likes to get sequels to things I already have, I bought the Smurfs 2. Still sealed, haven't actually watched it yet. I don't know if I will. I will say the first Smurfs movie was actually fairly decent. I think a lot of these kids movies, they kind of get like a bad rap. They are what they are, you know. Okay, so we also have here Snow White and the Huntsman. I actually haven't watched this yet. I heard it's actually pretty decent, so I do want to get into watching that. We have the Social Network here. This is like the super special whatever edition. I can't remember what it was called. Basically has like his quote on there. Kind of hard. I honestly, I really don't like it because it's kind of hard to see in your collection. And then we have Spaceballs, the 25th anniversary edition. If you're a fan of Star Wars, you'll absolutely love this. This is a perfect spoof of that. We have Speed. This is Speed 1 and 2. I've seen the first Speed, never seen the second one. That's why I bought this edition, just to kind of check that out. And it was only like $5, so couldn't really complain. Great comedy with Melissa McCarthy. Again, not a huge fan of hers, but she does make some really good films on occasion, and Spy is one of those films. Then we have a classic, Stand By Me, the 25th anniversary edition. Every time these new editions come out of movies that I remember from my childhood, it just makes me feel older and older each and every time. Then we have Star Trek. This is the 3 disc special edition, and then we also have the sequel, Into Darkness. And hopefully, when the third one comes out, they have a similar type of cover to kind of continue with that theme. And while Star Trek is great and all, nothing beats Star Wars, the complete saga. Yes, okay. The by the way, I'm joking about Star Trek. I like both of them, but to be honest with you, Star Wars kind of holds a bit more. I hold a bit closer to my heart. The originals are obviously the better of the 6 films. To be honest with you, I'm not a huge hater of the prequels. Obviously, there's things like Jar Jar Binks and stuff like that that we could definitely do without. But and Attack of Clones was not a great movie, but 1 and 3 for most of 1 and all of 3 for the most part are decent films. I really do enjoy those. Another recent addition, actually found this for $10 at a Giant Tiger, which is like a small convenience store kind of thing. We have Starship Troopers, a trilogy. What's cool about this is actually it's all in English, and usually in Canada or in Quebec rather, they're not allowed to sell English only packaging in Quebec. But it actually includes all 3 films. I love the first one. I think I seen the second one and I wasn't too amused with it. Or the third one's decent enough, but I basically just, I mean, for $10, you can't really go wrong. We have something that here is sealed. We have Tango and Cash, Sylvester Stallone, Kurt Russell. Great film. I want to add it to the collection. I want to watch it again recently, which is why I bought it. I got that through the Black Friday sale, I want to say. Then we have Taken. Actually, we're doing this backwards, I think. Let's see here. Yeah, we're definitely doing it backwards. All right, whatever. Okay, so we have Taken, Taken 2, Taken 3. Of these, it kind of goes from great, decent, okay for those ones. Although I will say, I liked how they, because after the first one, you get the story, whatever. Second one, you're like, okay, kind of convenient, but whatever. Third one, you're like, okay, well, how are they gonna do this one? And I liked the angle they went with this one. Okay, and then we also have, for the S's anyway, we have Super 8 and Stripes. Both of these are great films. This is a classic comedy. And Super 8 is one of my favorite J.J. Abrams films, right up until The Force Awakens, which is absolutely amazing. Which we saw in theater, actually, on opening day. And to finish off the ninth shelf, we have the Superior Driver film. Taxi Driver, Robert De Niro, a classic film. Again, with the whole Drive thing, I personally recommended me Drive. Said it was similar in slow build up kind of thing to Taxi Driver. I really love this film, but for whatever reason, Drive didn't really resonate with me. Then we have Ted. I want to get Ted 2, and I'm too late now for the slipcover. Really funny film though. I really like that one. Then we have Ninja Turtles 1, 2. I don't count 3 as a Ninja Turtles film. Then we have TMNT, and then a guilty pleasure for me is the reboot, whatever, Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles live action films. I personally don't mind these. I know a lot of people really crapped on on this film, but I thought they did a decent enough job. Again, you have to realize that it is for a new generation. It's not really necessarily meant for us. And the kids that were there, they loved it. So again, you have to also realize like these films are not great films. Like Ninja Turtles 1 and 2, they're not great films at all. They actually didn't review all that great at the time. But nostalgia clouds all, you know. And while I personally love those films, especially as a kid, they're not great films, and I don't really know what you expect, honestly. But no, 'cause that's basically it for the shelf 9. Let's go on to shelf 10, which is this one right here.